Money buys taste. It doesn't buy standards. If your body is in one place, you've lowered your standards, then you're still living by cheap standards. And if that irritates you, then good. I'm far more interested in the standards you stop defending than the excuses you've learned to defend. Because this summer I walked into one of the most exclusive private members clubs in Europe, La Zagaleta in Marbella. I was invited there by my solicitor who has got a property inside the estate. I've got a property over here too in Marbella, so I'm over here quite a bit. But this place, gosh, this place was different. Like, if you've never heard of La Zagaleta, that's probably the point. Because the people who live there generally like it this way. Like, this place is, I don't know how many hectares, 900 hectares or something. I want to say 9 hectares, I can't remember. There's like 252 villas over there. I think the cheapest one starts at like 5 million or something stupid. But this place is like something else. You go to the entrance and it's like gated. You can't go in unless you show that you actually live there. They know your car registration number and everything else. And the guards are armed as well. So that tells you something. Okay, so people who live there like it this way. It's not like Puerto Banús, where you see like people going there to be seen, right? If you've ever been there, then you'll know exactly what I mean. It's where people who've got everything, and like I mean everything, go to disappear. Like they don't want to be seen, right? You can't even apply to join this club, like the kind of like the golf club or the clubhouse, whatever they call it, unless you've actually got, there's like a restaurant in there and the gym and everything else. You can't apply to join the club unless you've got property inside the estate. Membership, that starts around 100,000 euros. And I haven't stopped thinking about what I saw since I went there. Now, this is not about wealth. It's about something that wealth cannot buy. Okay, I like nice things myself. I like beautiful houses. I like great hotels. I enjoy good food. I love watches, cars, you name it. But none of that is the point. Anyway, so we pull up to the gate and security led us through. As we're like driving around, I'm thinking this place is ridiculous. Championship golf courses, gardens without a single thing in place. Villas that don't even look real. Like if you ever go to these real estates that list those luxury properties like in the millions, then you would know exactly what I mean. These places like look as though you've got something from the villa. Sorry, from the like a magazine website. It looks like it's been photoshopped or whatever. It's surreal. Okay. So, you know, like those basically the real estate agent photos, they just think that they've adjusted them because of lighting, because like the houses look perfect, right? That's what it's like. Only it was like in real life. It wasn't edited. Right? Everything felt intentional. Even the flowers looked somewhat expensive. You can smell success before you even reach a clubhouse. So naturally, I'm thinking this should be interesting, because if there was one place on earth where excuses had disappeared, surely it was here. Like money, this wasn't a problem. Probably more flexibility than most people will ever have. But it went beyond that. Like behind those gates, there were championship golf courses, tennis, paddle, swimming. professional coaching, concierge services that could organize just about anything you needed. And then you look at the houses. Um, most of these villas aren't like built with swimming pools and cinema rooms. They got like commercial grade gyms, spas, wellness suites. If they wanted a trainer, then, one phone call. If they wanted every meal prepared, one phone call. If they wanted a nutritionist, one phone call. Like every practical advantage was already behind those gates. So if getting in shape was simply about access or information or resources, this should have been the easiest room in Europe to stay lean. So I was speaking to my project manager as well, about, because he's got a friend who also has a villa inside the inside like Zagaleta. And I'll basically I'll tell you sort of a short story. He sort of deals with various projects over there, like these people in Marbella do. They do like various things, like jack of all trades. Anyway, so he tells me that the president of Rwanda came in for a 2-week period and spent somewhere north of 20 million. I kid you not. This was the president of Rwanda. 20 million, north of 20 million euros spent on catering and everything else. He said that basically he traveled with well over 100 people with security, and they wanted all this catering and everything else. And they stayed inside this villa that was like 40 million, worth like 40 million or something stupid like that, 40 million euros. It was like, I saw a picture of it, and I saw a picture of it because I didn't actually see him before I went inside. Um, and I didn't see him before I met my solicitor, rather. Um, and so he tells me that this villa is like 40 million. He's showing me pictures. It had like a cellar and everything else, and they are in there like putting doing like a catering thing, right? A catering event basically is out there celebrating. I think he said that they goes around Europe for like 2 weeks at a time in each place. Next, he's going somewhere down to France, south of France. I can't remember whether it was Monaco or somewhere else. Anyway, so he goes there spending 20 million euros on like 2 weeks. So basically had to hire all these kitchens and redesign the sofa because he wanted a certain sofa. And this guy's like working 14, 15, 16 hours a day trying to get these guys to be happy because they're very demanding. And the thing is with these guys, they're used to having everything their own way. So like, they don't accept no for an answer, and they have the money to pay for it. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Actually, let me tell you about the people that live inside this one. So typically the people aren't sort of announced in that sense. They don't tell you who's living in there, like a secret. But if you look around, I asked my project manager, who basically told me the solicitor can't tell me, obviously because of like secrecy and stuff. I don't think he even knows very many people because the people are probably don't even live there for very many weeks a year. They just probably go there for like 2 weeks at a time, go back to wherever they are. Anyway, so Daniel Agger, the ex-Liverpool footballer, has got a couple of properties over there. There was talk about what's his name, Adnan Khashoggi, whatever it was, some Saudi arms dealer. He used to have a property, and apparently his property was converted into a clubhouse. And And there is the thing about Putin being there as well, which is actually quite funny because it's never been confirmed or denied, or I think it's been denied. I think Cristiano Ronaldo and a couple of other footballers may have villas in there, although again, it's not official, so to speak. But anyway, so I'm speaking to my project manager, and he's like, "We're driving past, and we went past this house, and like we're like taking photographs. He was taking photographs of some for some reason, and he's like." Suddenly I'm driving past and these cameras are like following me and I'm thinking, and he's there like thinking, okay, who's lives in that property to have this many cameras and to follow me when I was driving. So it's like, okay, somebody who does not want to be, somebody, what's happened to the internet? Somebody who does not want to be seen, basically. Okay. Anyway, so we walk inside the clubhouse and it is packed, right? Middle of the week, champagne flowing like it's fucking water, right? Champagne being poured, wine flowing, Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, Cartier, designer linen shirts. The kind of place where looking at the price would make you look out of place. Now, I'm not even kidding. Okay, so we'll head over to the table to get a table rather. The hostess smiles and says, "Have you got a reservation?" And I'm like, "A reservation? What the actual fuck?" Like, this place only has like a few hundred members. And who exactly are we competing with? It turns out like all of them. So even after paying a few 100,000 euros for the privilege of joining, you still need to book. That's how busy this place was, right? Okay, so when you're waiting to be seated, like we're trying to sit down, and you don't really notice a lot, right? You're sort of looking here, looking there. You're trying to be people turning around, looking like, who's this? People moving around, waiters weaving between tables, conversations everywhere. And then we finally sit down, and the conversation settles, and I actually get time to look around. Not at the watches, not the clothes, not at the wine, the people. So at first I noticed one bloke, one guy, big belly. Took him a bit of effort to get out of his chair. And I'm thinking, okay, fair enough. Then another, then another, then another. And I actually catch myself scanning the terrace and looking around, almost trying to prove myself wrong, right? I'm like, surely I'm just looking in the wrong direction. But the longer I looked, the clearer the picture became. Okay? And I'll say 80, maybe 90% of these guys had let themselves go, like completely let themselves go. Bellies stretching shirts that probably cost 1,000 euros, rounded shoulders, no shape, no presence, men pushing themselves up out of their chairs with both hands. And what struck me wasn't that they looked unhealthy, it was that their bodies didn't match the room. Like everything around them reflected extraordinary standards. The architecture, the gardens, the service, the watches, the wine, the cars, everything except the bodies. And that's what caught me off guard. If there were a group of people on earth who had removed almost every practical excuse, I thought this would be this one. I thought it would be this one. Right? The gates had already solved every practical problems. The bodies proved the real problem was somewhere else. And sitting there looking around that terrace, I realized I'd been asking the wrong question. It isn't what can money buy, it's what can't it? So I sat there for a while just watching because I couldn't make it make sense. These men These weren't men who'd run out of options. These were men with more options than almost anybody in the planet. Like, if money solved room, this room shouldn't have existed. And then it hit me. I've been giving money far too much credit, because money can buy convenience, money can buy access, money can buy comfort, money can buy information, money can even buy time, but it can't buy standards. If you ask most of these men, do you want to be dean? They probably say, hell yeah. Nobody looks in the mirror at the body they don't recognize anymore and thinks, that's exactly what I wanted. They want the pecs without doing the push-ups. They want the energy without changing the life that's draining it. Wanting the outcome costs nothing. Their standard does. These guys are successful, and they're still walking around in dog-ass shape. Not because they lack access, not because nobody told them what protein is, not because the right trainer hasn't appeared yet. Hell, they can just call concierge, and if they wanted Cristiano Ronaldo's trainer, they'll bring him over. Like, this place has got like helipads that will take you to the friggin' airport if you wanted to, right? And to go and catch your plane, to catch your private jet or whatever. They even take you somewhere else if you wanted to. It's like, there's nothing in there that a basic phone call will solve. That, like, I can't think of anything that will tell you, sorry, sir, we can't do that. Or we don't know how to do that. But because the standard they apply everywhere else stops at their body, there is like a big difference between wanting the outcome and living by the standards that's created. They want the body. They just don't want it badly enough to reorganize their lives around it, making the body part of the system instead of asking it to survive wherever the system leaves behind. Right? So most men want it the other way around. They want the body to fit directly into the life they've already built without having to move a single piece of that life around. And the body doesn't work like that. And that part that really got me wasn't that successful men were overweight. It was that they'd mastered systems everywhere else, business, money. Everything had a process. Everything had a standard. Except the one system they could never outsource: their body. Oops, what am I doing? And once. There we go. And that's when it finally clicked. Like, the gates can remove every practical obstacle, but they can remove one thing: the negotiation. Because no amount of money can make a decision you refuse to make yourself. There's another side to this. Let me just clip this mic on here. That'll be easier. Then I can talk with freedom. Here we go. Okay, that's better. Okay. There's another side to this. Some men will invest almost everything, and they'll invest in almost everything except their body. They'll invest in the business. They'll join the mastermind. They'll hire the consultant. They'll pay for proximity, bring in somebody who can shorten the learning curve. Okay, because in business, they understand leverage. They understand that the right person can save them years. But when it comes to their body, suddenly they want to figure everything out themselves. They build a successful company, so they assume they should be able to solve this too. I've got news for you. You don't know shit. You know business, but success in one area doesn't make you competent in another. It makes you competent in that area. And that's it. You know, a man will happily pay someone to help him grow his company because he understands the cost of trying to figure everything out alone. But when it comes to his body, he suddenly decides expertise is unnecessary. See, success gives you evidence that your judgment works. The risk is you start believing it works everywhere, even in areas you know fuck all about. And that's why you keep repeating the same diet every single time. Harder diets, or rather keep repeating the same cycle, not the diet. Cycle. Did I say cycle or diet? Anyway, it's cycle. A harder diet, a stricter challenge, more cardio, less food, another reset, another Monday. You keep changing the method without ever questioning the man choosing it. In business, if the same strategy failed 4 times, you wouldn't call it persistence. You would call it bad management. You bring in expertise. You'll find the blind spots. You'll stop confusing effort with competence. But with your body, you keep assuming the next attempt will work because this time you'll try harder. Sometimes you need enough humility to admit you don't know shit. Because the moment you stop needing to be the smartest person in the room, you can finally learn something. And you know that from your business success. I want you to imagine somebody in your company who's responsible for results. I want you to imagine him coming into your Monday morning meeting or whatever day that you do your meetings and said, I didn't follow the process. I stopped tracking the numbers. I tried something completely different. But don't worry, we'll get back on top of it next week. 1 week, 1 month, 1 quarter, all go by. At what point do you stop believing the promise and start judging the pattern? Would you call that bullshit? Would you call that the bullshit? Does that sound familiar? Because that's exactly how you've been leading yourself. Every Monday, a new promise. Every month, a new plan. Every year, another reset. Different strategy, same result. You've heard the pattern before because when it's your business, patterns matter more than promises. But somehow your body became the exception. Another Monday, another reset, another promise you believe because it's coming from you. Your business reflects your leadership. Does your body? And maybe that's a question. Not what you want. You already know what you want. The question is, what standards have you quietly accepted? Because somewhere along the way, the man who refused excuses everywhere else started accepting them here. He'll wake up one morning and decide, I'm happy with this. Yeah, I'm happy with this. It doesn't happen like that. The standard moves little by little, one negotiation at a time, until eventually the body starts telling the truth about the standards you've been living. Different countries, different cultures, same negotiation. You know, I've been around different countries. I've seen around different cultures. It's exactly the same negotiation. Money just removes the obstacle. It doesn't hold the standard for you. Your body reveals what you've been willing to tolerate. So maybe stop asking, what do I need to do? And start asking, when did I become the exception to my own standards? Because money can buy almost everything, but it still can't hold the standard for you. Only you can. That's all from me today. I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you follow me on my socials and have a great day.